If I were to ask you today, are you living your purpose? What would your answer be? Huh, that's a tough question, huh? Let's sit down with Aquila. She is a biochemist turned blogger, and she says she's living her purpose. Let's find out how.
So hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Building a Legacy That Counts, where we look to inspire and empower the youth and basically everybody. My name is Aquila, and today I sit down with a lady called Aquila Farrell. Now, let me give you a little background. If you have a brand or you're looking to grow a brand, I will say that it is critical for you to invest in your brand and yourself. So that's what I did. I signed up for a course with a lady called Janelle B. Stewart. You can find her on Instagram. But in that course, she teaches people, how to invest in their brands and how to grow their brands. And one great thing that happened was during one of our classes, we got to meet this lady called Aquila. Now, sometimes in life, when you meet somebody, you have to get to know that person because there is just so much inspiration to be found in their story. And that is why today I am honored to be sitting down with Aquila because, now listen, she is a biochemist turned blogger. You heard that. A biochemist turned blogger. I mean, there's so much to be learned from the story. Welcome, Aquila.
Hello, Akusika. It is my pleasure to be here with you today.
I am honored to sit down with you.
I want to congratulate you on all of your success and having this amazing
series
where you highlight women and men who are accomplishing their goals. This is what our community needs, and well done to you and your team.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the kind words. Now let's dig right into it.
Okay.
If somebody were to ask you, who is Aquila Farrell, what would your answer be?
My answer would be Aquila is a dreamer. Dreams. I remember being a child and looking at myself in the mirror and always being concerned about what am I going to accomplish. My memory is very great. Like, I'm very good at remembering myself at different parts of my life. So I remember at 5 years old, looking at myself in the mirror and asking, what are you going to be? At 5, that's the kind of questions I was asking myself. And I said, I'm going to dream big. Along with being a dreamer, I'm a believer. So I'm very confident in what God promises to me. And that promises for me to have everything that I've ever dreamed of. So being a dreamer has helped me push forward and dream big and go after my dreams. And I love saying boldly go, because I believe, when you're shy and meek, those are great skills to have or, things to have as you're in your journey. But if you really want to accomplish something, you've got to go a bit bold. So that's who I would say I am. There's so much more that I could use to describe myself, but we'll get more into that during the interview.
That is amazing. I mean, I love it. I love it already. Dream, right? A lot of us are not dreaming because we've gotten comfortable. We are stuck where we are. But like I always tell people, it takes a dreamer to make things happen.
We're stagnant and we're comfortable. That word comfortable is a word that's usually, associated with positive things, but it actually can be negative because beyond your comfort zone is exactly where you need to be. So if you're feeling comfortable, like things are going really great right now, you need to push a little bit more to get outside of that comfort zone and really step into a new chapter.
Exactly. So stepping into a new chapter brings me to my next question.
Great.
How did you go from being a biochemist to a blogger, a fashion guru, a social media influencer? I mean, I can go on and on, but how did you do that?
Every day, I'm listening to you saying this, and every day I have to pinch myself that, Aquila, you're not in a hospital running chemical, procedures and testing samples. I mean, I'm not doing that anymore because that's where I was heading. I wanted to be a doctor. So in my pursuit of medicine, I got into research and was working at one of the top 5 cancer centers in the world, approving
Wow.
clinical trials. And, you know, I wasn't happy. I wasn't like, I thought this was going to be prestigious and I would feel like, wow, Khalif really made it. But, you know, while I was working, I was creating a little website, seeing if I could, you know, share my fashion faves and beauty faves on that site. And one winter night, my husband got the call to move to California. And he said, are you going to come with me or are you going to stay in Canada and pursue medicine? And I said to him, no, I'm coming. He's like, there's only one thing, you know, if you come, you can't work because you won't get the visa. So what are you going to do? And with that sparked, you know, when people ask me, so what are you going to do? That question always gets me going because I want to prove to them that I'm going to accomplish great things. And I immediately started a blog, and that's where the blogger piece came in. So I had left, my contract had ended at the hospital and I did not renew. And I started my blog because I was moving to California, and it just literally took off. The momentum was faster than I could ever imagine. And I was literally keeping up with my blog and this small business that I had started. And it was a beautiful time because I felt like, wow, I'm actually doing this thing. You know, this dream that I had, I'm actually doing it. I'm living it. And I don't even know what's coming next, but I'm happy where I'm at.
That's when you know you're doing something you love.
Yes.
You don't know what tomorrow holds, but you just focus on today, do what you love, and have fun.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So what are the 3 things you had to check off your list to make this, you know, career switch? Because this is a pretty big switch from working for one of the top 5 cancer centers
in the world,
to having no income coming in, moving to a different country, probably having your parents ask you, are you really serious about this?
I mean, telling my parents that I didn't want to be a doctor after I spent, you know, years with the University of Toronto Faculty of Medicine. Every summer they would have me come in and work with them. So they were following a group of Black students from grade 10 to the completion of medicine. And that was actually a research study. So I now had to tell them I would not be in the study. I spoke to my dad and he was very supportive, you know, but his question again was, so what are you going to do? And that just got me, you know, fired up to show him what I'm going to do. And here I am 4 years later, and I've accomplished the majority of the things that I've wanted to accomplish. But the 3 things I had to think about were my goals. So if I wanted to pursue this industry, how am I going to do it? So I did a lot of research. I looked at the top bloggers and how they were making money and how the things they were accomplishing. And I set my goals, right? The second thing was finance. Like, how am I going to make money? I'm leaving a stable job with benefits and perks and all of that to start again from nothing. You know, I'm leaving, you know, a career where I had the stability of a paycheck to begin something new. So how was I going to actually make money? And for me, I started making money right away, which has its pros and cons. The pro is that you're making money. You can pay your bills. But the con was I was so quickly obsessed with making money that I forgot to build community. So, you know, now 4 years later, I'm trying to build community, you know, rather than pursuing this money that consistently drives me and gives you my security. And the third thing is I had to determine how determined I was going to be. So am I going to be on and off, or am I going to be consistent? I remember when I first started my blog, I was waking up every morning, 5 a.m.
Just like a normal job.
Like a regular job. And anyone who knows me knows I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl. But I felt like I was behind. I felt like my peers were ahead. So I needed to catch up. They had years of experience and I was starting, you know, this is my 3rd month in. So I was waking up every morning and publishing a blog post every single day to catch up, because I knew that would help me get ahead. And so said, so done. I started my blog on a Friday, and by the Sunday, I had an invitation from Pandora, the jewelry company.
Oh, wow. That's a big one.
Yeah, to come to a private event with Sarah Ferguson, who is, you know, a part of the royal family group. She was coming to Canada and they wanted me to meet her and interview her for my blog.
Wow.
that happened really fast. And from
Yeah.
there, I met somebody who literally fell in love with my brand and wanted me to work with them. And I started getting brand deals. So those three things really have helped me accomplish what I have today. Figuring out the finance, because I love money and I love to actually bring in revenue.
Who doesn't?
And I'm setting my goals. I'm very into setting goals. I have a bunch of notebooks here with me where I write all of my goals. I'm always writing things down. And I wanted to, decide from the beginning, how determined am I? Am I kind of determined? Am I not? No, am I going 100% or 40%? And once I realized I'm going 150%, that just propelled me forward and built up my confidence in what I wanted to do and accomplish.
That is awesome. I mean, I am so proud of you. That is absolutely awesome. I see the work you're doing on Instagram, and I'm going to tag it down here so people can, follow and support, but you are doing amazing work.
Thank you.
So you touched on your dad being supportive. What about your mom? Do you have any siblings? How did they feel?
My mom is an amazing woman. She was an entrepreneur, and our stories are very much the same. She was a mogul and entrepreneur in Trinidad, running her family's home-based handmade business. Sounds familiar, right?
Just like you, yeah?
Yeah, she left Trinidad to pursue love in Canada, which is my father, and then proceeded to have children, but continued to run her homemade business and sewing. And when I got married, she had mentioned to me, are you going to still pursue medicine, or are you just going to stay at home? I'm like, no, I'm going to pursue it. So when I told her that I didn't want to do it any longer, she was aligned, right? That was also,
wow.
She was a stay-at-home mom. She was a stay-at-home wife. So it was familiar to her. So she was okay. My uncle, though I love him and we're very close to this day, we had a bit of a back and forth shouting match. He was not happy. He said, you spent so much time, you have 2 degrees. Why would you give it up? There's women who are in worse situations than you, and they're pursuing medicine. And I told him, I really have the opportunity to take a chance. And I asked him, I'm like, my husband's career is really accelerating, and I have the opportunity to kind of like ride on the tail end. He's doing well, making money, really always on a plane all over the world, Japan, Taiwan, Australia. I can take this time to invest in my business. And I asked him a really tough question, and I hope people who are listening here, why is there a double standard? Why is it that when we look at other, men that are successful and their wives stay at home, we can't apply that to Black people? We think that that's only for, white people or for other races. And I have the opportunity to stay home, and I'm not just at home sleeping all day. I'm going to build a business. So why is the standard, why do you question me? Why must I, pursue that traditional route? And with that question, he got very quiet. And, I'll never forget, I was in New York Fashion Week, and I was in the airport, and he called me, my same uncle. And he said to me, I've been seeing what you're doing on social media. He's like, I've been getting your emails. I've been seeing your photos and your posts. And he's like, I'm so proud of you.
Oh.
And Aku,
I was amazing.
Crying in JFK because finally he understood what I was doing. And to this day, he's still a #1 supporter and always is giving me feedback. And he shoots some of my photos that you see on Instagram when I go to Canada. And I had to really show them, position it in a way that would let them see the benefit. And for me, I was like, if I'm not going to be an MD, and if I'm not going to have Dr. Aquila, Farrell, I have to do something better. And medicine, though it's an amazing profession that's really, makes a huge contribution to the world, I wanted to take a bigger risk, an even bigger risk. And the risk that I took really has paid off. And it's because I bet on myself. I did it for myself. I put my money on myself. And sometimes I feel like I shy away from the praise, or I shy away from, people talking about my accolades. I'm very, I'm shy in that way. But then sometimes I'm like, no, I really did this thing. So yes, talk about me. Tell people about what I've done. Because, sometimes I forget. I'm always on to the next project or the next thing. But sometimes I really have to bask in my success and own it.
Exactly. And you know what? I was going to touch on this. Your uncle probably is now comfortable and is at peace because he realizes, one, you're doing something you love,
Yes.
and two, you're doing it well.
Yes. Thank you.
And I mean, that makes a difference, because when people worry about you, it's up to you to put them at ease, right?
Yeah.
And you have just proven the theory to them.
Yeah. Think about this industry. Digital content creation is a new industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's brand new. You know, people don't know where it's going to go. If I had told somebody 20 years ago, I want to be a fashion creative entrepreneur, mogul, business owner, they would be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but now with the internet and the power of social media, you can do anything and you can be anything.
That is
So for my uncle, he's like, how are you going to do this? Like, we don't have any, but for me, it was like, I know what tools I need to do this. Just sit back and watch and see. So, you know, now when I hear him talk about me, it's like, yeah, you know, he knows that, okay, she's really built it. It's legit. So
that is awesome. So what are some of the struggles you have faced in switching careers, and how did you overcome them?
the biggest challenge when I first started was not having somebody to be a mentor. I felt like there were so many different bloggers that I had supported for many years by going to their events, buying their merch, buying their ebook. But when I said I wanted to be a blogger now, I couldn't hear from them. I couldn't get help. I couldn't get advice. I couldn't get, you know, a word of encouragement, go girl, nothing. And that hurt because I felt like I supported them and now I wanted to try this thing. And now it was like, okay, your competition. Like, no, I don't want to share my secrets with you.
Crickets.
And I didn't like that. You know, I had really supported them. So finding a mentor was really difficult. And then, like you said, I met Janelle B. Stewart. So we met at an engagement party. And, you know, Janelle, she was just like into me. And now looking back to it, I said, God, like you were working an amazing thing. Because that night, you know, she was really like asking me a lot of questions about what I do. And at that time, I had just started the blog. I didn't know what she was talking about. This time, she was like one of the top 5 natural hair YouTubers and one of the OG hair gurus. And I was like, I'm so, you know, fangirling, but she wants to learn about me. And that began an amazing relationship where she said, let's meet every Tuesday. And we've been meeting every Tuesday since, where we just talk about ideas. She mentors me. She puts me in check. She sets up a plan for me. And that's how I really started to like really catch a bit more speed and, you know, get paid even more. So meeting her, Janelle really took me under her wing. No matter how much I accomplish, I'll never forget her. I'll never forget how the look in her eyes that night. I don't know what she saw, but she was like ready, like, you know, a lion that's ready to pounce. She's like, I need this girl to be on my team and in my work.
Janelle is energy. I mean, energy all the day.
I'll never forget that look. And she pursued me being a part of her world, and I was happy to become a part of it. And of course, you know, it was a partnership and a sisterhood that's now become a sisterhood. It's not only about business and me building, no, it's about like love, sisterhood, winning together. And I tell her every day, I'm like, Janelle, everything that you see is because of your guidance. I'm getting emotional.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, take a deep breath, but I know how you feel because, you know, it's not easy for people to help each other. I don't know if that makes sense, but and I don't understand why, because that should be something easy that people do. I mean, when we all go up, it's a great thing.
It's a great thing. And, you know, Janelle, even when she started the school, you know, which was her school, she founded it, which is an online school teaching people how to be digital content creators. She was like, I want you to be a part of the webinars. I want you to be in the forefront. And I'm like, no, I'm just behind the scenes, you know, doing all the, you know, she's like, no, I want you to share your story. And that pushed me even further to now become a speaker and to mentor other people and to speak to people who want to pursue this industry. I speak to about 20 to 30 people every month.
Wow.
About how to be a digital content creator. And Janelle gives me the freedom, you know, to mentor people and really get them to where they want to be with our help.
That is awesome. And I really I hope, you know, a lot of Ghanaians are watching this video. And I say that because in Ghana, there are very little to no jobs. It's hard to crack into the job market. And if people could really learn how to work on the internet, they could make a living for themselves, you know?
Like I talk
And
to my church back home, I tell them, I said, a lot of us are stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home wives. And for women, stay-at-home, whatever. You can be making money with the internet.
Yeah, and taking care of your family.
And taking care of your family.
And going on the church that you've always wanted to go on.
You don't have to be, no offense to anybody, you don't have to be going and cleaning house and going and cleaning bathrooms on the weekends and you can be at home in the comfort of your home, building an empire that's global.
Exactly.
Internet. But many people are afraid, they're afraid, they don't understand. But, like you, make a little bit of an investment, learn the basics, and then make it work for yourself.
Right.
Right. But rather some people want to gossip about what does she really do on the internet? Why is she always posting on Facebook? Why is she's so self-centered? No, when I post a picture on Instagram, I make money from that. When I send out an email, I make money from that. And you know what it does? At the time, before COVID, I could travel the world with my husband and create content. I could, support my family. I could buy my parents a refrigerator. I can pay for my mother's healthcare. I can help my brother. I can do so many great things. I can shower myself with the things that I love, as well as
just sitting at home and being behind the computer.
In the comfort of my home. One of my girlfriends said, "Oh, Aquila, you really had it right all along." Because I'm working from home in the midst of this crisis. Everybody's scrambling to work from home now.
Yeah.
So, we have to change our thinking as Black people and think about the possibilities, the endless possibilities of working on the internet and mastering the internet. You don't have to know everything on the internet, but find one thing and master that thing.
Yeah.
If it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, if it's email marketing, if it's going live on Instagram, live on Facebook, YouTube, master that thing, and you're going to see the opportunities come in.
I love it. And I'm going to leave your email somewhere in the comment section. So if anybody wants to reach out to you to get a head start, feel free to do so. But how has being a biochemist helped you in the journey that you've taken?
Wow, great question. When I think about what I do day to day as a blogger, it's very similar to what I was doing as a biochemist. First of all, it's being able to track information. So, as a blogger, I'm not just here taking pictures all day. I might do that one day a week or once every 2 weeks, but I'm spending a lot of time looking at contracts, looking at brand deals, creating content, like written content, planning, right? So that is something that I was doing when I was working at the hospital. Also, at the hospital, I was doing management of people, but now I'm doing management of brands. I have 10 brands who want to work with me. They're all at different stages. The contracts are different stages. I need to know who's where and timelines of the content. Will these 2 brand deals line up on the same week? How will my audience like if I'm promoting food and, travel at the same time? So being able to, look at projections and think into the future, as well as being able to read long documents, which is contracts, and being able to write and share my point of view. So being organized is a huge piece of this business. It's not just about photo shoot and makeup and lip gloss and hair and all of that. No, if you're running a business, you're running a business.
Exactly.
It's about working with a team. I have my accountant, my assistant, my lawyer. We're all working together to get me this deal. So I'm not just on my own. When I first started, I was on my own, but now I've grown and I need to be able to work with these people. I need to be kind via email and speak to them and treat them properly because they're helping me every day to make my dreams a reality. So it's not just, you want to be glamorous. No, it's a lot of the skills transfer over from biochemistry, transfer over to being a blogger, as well as research. I spend a lot of time researching about, trends and brands that I want to work with. It's not just a slapdash, like, okay, let me just reach out to this brand. No, I have a process. I have an approach. And if you see anything on my social, it's not in vain. It's very intentional for many reasons. So yeah, being organized, tracking, and being intentional.
I mean, I'm inspired. I want to just run to the internet. This is amazing. Let me ask you, you touched on blogging. What exactly is blogging and how do people make money out of blogging?
Okay. So blogging is having your own .com. So you can have whatever domain that you buy and you're sharing content on there.
Got it.
So
Okay.
you're sharing 5 reasons why you love ice cream, 4 new books that you've read last week. You're sharing 5 new lipsticks for fall. You're sharing, my weekend getaway in Hawaii. You're sharing information about your life, right? Within your limit. So you don't have to share every detail, but whatever you feel comfortable with. And when you're consistently doing that, you're building up viewers. People are going to be visiting your blog. You're going to be using SEO to get more visitors. So imagine you now becoming like a bit of a publishing house where you're able to like publish content. You become like a go-to resource that people can watch, right? And what happens with the blog is, people are like, well, I'm a blogger on Instagram. And the problem with that is that Instagram, you don't own it. So if Instagram shuts down today, everything that you ever had on there is gone. Whereas your .com, you own it and you can therefore add whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. It's more of a hub about everything about you.
Got it.
So that's what blogging is. And that's why I advise people, if you don't have a blog, get one. Take the same content that you're putting on Instagram and put it on a blog. The way I do it is that I use social media to drive people to my blog or to, new articles that I'm sharing, etc., or to my business or to my products.
That's awesome. And you touched on something really huge, and that is you don't own Instagram, you don't own YouTube, you don't own Facebook. And each of these sites can go down at any time. Yeah. And if that's your only source of revenue, I mean, you are in trouble.
I think a couple of days ago, hashtag stopped working on Instagram. Some days Instagram Live is not working. They're always doing different things. And I think about, it's never happened to me. If I had a brand deal due that day, it would have been a mess, right? Because your content's not going to be seen. It's not going to go viral, etc. So it's really important to think about the blog piece. I'm not saying you need to blog every single day. No, you need to blog once every 2 weeks to start. Then you're gonna get so excited, you're gonna do it once a week, once every couple of days. But having your own .com, even if it's just a landing page, makes a difference.
That's awesome. So are brands looking at these blogs and essentially reaching out and advertising through the content that you're sharing? Is that how it works?
Yes. And for me, like some of my best and biggest brand deals are because I have a blog. When I was working with Dyson, they reached out to me and they said, we found you on Google. They didn't say we found you on Instagram. They said we found you on Google. We went to Google to find like San Francisco blogger, Black blogger, and they found me. And that means my SEO is doing pretty good. And then they wanted to work with me. They might then go to Instagram to see like what I'm up to, And when I spoke to them, they knew so many things about me that was definitely posted on my Instagram. So that just shows you that like how successful that combination is. If they had searched Google blogger, Black blogger San Francisco on Google, they're not going to find my Instagram necessarily, right?
That's true.
We have to think about the power of SEO. And remember, SEO is like a real advantage to have on your blog. And because people go to Google, definitely think about SEO and how you can make it better so you can be found.
That's awesome. So talking about brands, I know your work has been recognized by some pretty big brands like Forbes, PopSugar. How did this happen and how does that make you feel? Look at that smile.
I sometimes forget about the Forbes. Forbes was on my vision board in 2016, and that was before I even started the blog. I had no idea of what I was going to do, but I created this vision board and I had Forbes on there. I just know Forbes is one of the best publications for business and highly respected. And I said, I want to be a part of it. I don't know how, but I want it to be a part of my future. And earlier this year, Instagram released Reels. I don't know if anyone has tried it, Reels are like a competition to TikTok. So these short 15-second, 30-second videos that you can share on your Instagram. And one of the partners that I work with was featuring a review about Reels, and they asked me to comment. And I shared a comment, and that was actually published. And I mean, that was a huge dream of mine. 4 years later, it's a reality. And ironically, the way I thought about how I want to be featured happened. You know, I really just wanted to be mentioned, and I wanted something from my point of view about a specific topic to be a part of Forbes. And, you know, I don't think it's by chance. It's because this is what I put into my prayers, into my life to actually have this moment. And when I actually saw it printed, I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted. I mean, talking to my dad, he was like, so how did this whole thing happen? Like, my dad is amazed. Like, he's always like, how do these things happen? Where do these people find you? Because for him, it's like Forbes, my little daughter is on Forbes, my uncle, my aunts, everybody was overwhelmed. And I think, you know what? The industry, there's a lot of bloggers and digital content creators on social. And on Google, but you really have to stand out. You have to build a portfolio of work, even if it's not with brands, even if it's for free, that you're proud of. Oh, yeah. That when somebody goes on your Instagram, they're like, wow, look at this girl. She's on fire. Or they go on your blog and say, wow, look at what she's doing for free. We want to hire her. We want to feature her. PopSugar, I was featured with on an article about Black women for Black history, and that list had Kamala. That list had, you know, the founder of Black Lives Matter. And my dad, you know, when he saw that, he called me crying. He's like, "You are on a list with Kamala." You know, this is before she was being considered for the vice president. And for him and for me, you know, it was a moment for my name to be listed with these women. And then, you know, I also do fashion. So I go to fashion weeks all over the world. And that's how I got featured in Refinery 29. I was at the Fendi show in Milan. And when you go to these shows, there's hundreds of photographers. And I was wearing a full head to toe Fendi look. And that was featured in Refinery 29 when they were talking about logos. And that's just a few of my features. I've been in San Francisco Chronicle, etc. But I'll be very transparent. Anything that you see in terms of any of these major wins, it's not me. It's really God, like, giving me these opportunities. I don't pursue them. I've had PR people work with me and it never works out. And I think that's God's way of saying, listen, I'm your PR. You don't need them. I'm doing the work.
I love that. Yeah.
And, you know, I just hired somebody for PR a couple months ago and it didn't work out again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm never hiring another PR person. I think my work stands for itself. My method to creating content and getting the attention of the brands works, getting on their radar. And I'm just going to stick with that for now.
That is awesome. Yeah. I mean, you said it right. God is your PR person. Yes. And he's working out the details. Yes. Now, I want to talk about a brand that you have, Marival Made. I have some products from you and I absolutely love that. Can you quickly tell us what this brand is all about and what you guys are doing?
So Marival Made, let's rewind to when I was starting the blog. You know, my husband told me, we're moving to California. What are you going to do? So I said, okay, I'm going to start a blog and a business. That business was Marival Made, right? But as my blog started to pick up, I left Marival Made because I couldn't keep up with both, right? And Marival Made wasn't booming, straight up. It wasn't booming. You know, at the time I had a product which was like a velvet carry case for your high heel shoes. You know, if you're going to a wedding, you have your slippers in this bag. And it was selling, you know, locally in Toronto. But when I come to California, nobody's into high heels here. Everybody, it's West Coast living. It's more casual. And shipping to Canada was so high at the time. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to do this product. It was selling casually, but nothing that was overwhelming. And at the beginning of this year, with COVID, one of my suppliers of the fabric in Italy, you know, Italy was, cases were so high, they were no longer shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? Okay, Marvel Made's done. I'm like, I have a business, I'm doing good with my digital content. And again, speaking to my mentor and business partner, Janelle, she's like, Aquila, why don't you make mask? You can sew, like make mask. And I was like, okay. So one Saturday night, I sat down on my sewing machine with my husband and we tried a bunch of different patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with this one pattern. And I made a couple masks, sent it out to a couple friends, and they're like, wow, this mask is great. So I pivoted to creating cloth face mask. That was a couple months ago. Now this business is booming. Marvel Made is doing so well, doing multiple, you know, 4 figures a month. And it's literally just me. Like I sew them, I pack them. My husband sometimes comes down and brings me a cup of water. But it's a business that it's not only about making money, it's about legacy. My mother's living legacy as someone who sews and makes things that are handmade, as well as my passion for fashion and sewing. So it's not about, oh, how, you know, some people are like, how are you going to scale? I saw a girl on Facebook asking me, how am I going to scale? I said, it's not about scaling. It's about legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I want my mom's legacy of making things and giving somebody a feeling of home. That's our slogan, you know, carrying a piece of home with you wherever you go in these masks. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm so grateful to people like you and all of our customers who continue, you know, buying them. I had
look at mine right here. I mean, I absolutely love it. My husband always grabs yours. It's well made. It is beautiful. Here, let me put one on for viewers to see, but look at this.
Wow, thank you. That's our NYC corners with, you know, hot dogs and pretzels. So that's like an ode to New York. And each one, I take a lot of time to make them, and I want people to feel safe and fashionable at the same time.
I mean, this is fashion right here. Who would wear bacon on their face?
I know the bacon one. Everybody loves the bacon one.
I love the owl. That's the one that's always recognized. Yeah, I go through the ice cream place and the guy always says, I know it's you because of your mask. Now, what I want to point out is you mentioned Janelle being, you know, the person who essentially said, why don't you try this? And I just want people to realize the power of networking.
Yes.
Right? It's important that you don't wrap yourself in a, you know, little hole and be all by yourself, but be open to networking and getting to know people. This is why I interview, because I learned so much from people, you know.
And you have to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Janelle is an accomplished businesswoman. She's made millions of dollars. She continues to make, you know, lots of money.
That's amazing.
And even though, you know, we work together as business partners, we're sisters, you know, I still humble myself and say, Janelle, I'm having a problem. Like, I can't, my stuff is not selling, girl. Like, tell me what I need to do. And she's like, why don't you pivot? You know, and for me to be vulnerable with her, some people would just want to keep that pride going. Oh, my business is booming. No, my business was struggling. I couldn't sell my product. And through that, she gave me, you know, a huge idea to make masks. And look where I am today. So humbling yourself, being vulnerable really makes a difference, as well as like telling people not all the details, but what you want to work on, so they can give you some advice or at least spark an idea.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us are tight-lipped. We don't want to share. We don't want to talk. We don't want to. And you know what? I've learned in this business, be it being a digital content creator and, you know, a small business owner, the more you are able to share, the more people trust you.
I agree.
The more you give for free, the better. Marvel Made, you know, you don't just get your mask, you get stickers, you get a night package, because I want you to feel like, oh, I got something cute, I want to order again. And in my business, you know, as a digital content creator, when I work with a brand, I want to go above and beyond and give them more, so they want to work with me again.
That's awesome.
So use that when you're making your decisions. When you go to events and don't want to tell people what you're working on, rethink it. Because they might be the person that can really help you get to the next level.
Absolutely.
And in this case, it's been Janelle for me, and there's no one else I can really credit.
Yeah, I think sharing, you know, what you're doing, being open to teaching people is what will essentially take you yourself to the next level.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you living your purpose?
Absolutely. I read a book, and I forget the name right now, but it's by Oprah. And she has an amazing excerpt in there talking about, I've never wanted to be a celebrity, but I've wanted to like really live at my highest potential. When I read that, I highlighted it like 50 times because that's me. I don't want to be a celebrity. I just want to live in my highest potential and my highest purpose. And I want to inspire someone else. My friend has a daughter, beautiful girl. Unfortunately, she's been bullied at her school. She has the natural hair, but it's really, really kinky. You know how we do with the natural hair. And she's been bullied for it. And one day she walked up to her mom and she said, Mom, I want to be like Auntie Quilly. Everybody calls me Quilly. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, I want to like make a perfume and like sell it. Like, her mom told me that. And I was like, this is exactly what I want. I want young girls to see like, okay, maybe I could make a perfume and sell it. She's 5 years old and she's watching her mom watch me on social and listening to the comments. And now it's an idea for her. Now she can consider it. But, years ago, how many Black women were doing what I was doing? Not many. How many Black people were working with Amazon, Google, Audible, Vaseline? Not many.
Wow.
So I want to inspire, and I also want to achieve everything that the Lord has planned for me. I want to, expand my territory and really be an example and be a lighthouse for what God can do when you really listen to him. I sit here in my office and I just listen, like, Lord, what are you telling me today? I listen to Janelle, I listen to people on social to really hear what the Lord is highlighting for me. Because he speaks to you through other people. But if you're not listening, you're not going to hear. Straight up. If you're not listening, and if you don't put the time to listen, you're not going to hear. So me, I'm living in my purpose. I'm accomplishing what God has for me. I think even if I was a biochemist, I would have accomplished. But what I'm doing now and how it's impacting people and impacting especially Black women and Black children, I never imagined this. But it makes me feel so overwhelmed and humbled to serve our community and to build something that's very rare.
I'm speechless.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
To wrap it up, what would you tell somebody who is at that point, the point that you were probably 4 years ago, trying to make that decision? Do I stay in the hospital? Do I let go? And when I let go, what do I do? They are trying to figure out what their purpose is. I mean, some of them are 30, 40,
50.
They still don't know what they're on the earth to do. What would you tell that person?
So, first of all, I will say it's never too late to pursue your dreams. And I'm going to say that again. It's never too late to pursue your dream. Whatever that dream, pursue it at 90, pursue it at 60, pursue it because it's there for you to take. I would also say that everything that you want is on the other side of fear. I talk to a lot of people every month and I speak to them, for free because this is my way of giving back to our community as Black people. And you know what I hear a lot on the phone? Fear, 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 fear. And you know what that does? Frustrates me. Because if you were to hop over that fear, everything that you want is on the other side. That, financial freedom, that's freedom of your time, that peace of mind, that, maybe you even want to be acknowledged and accomplish something great. That time with your family, that creative energy that you have is on the other side of fear. So if you could let go of that fear, and as a believer, fear is not of our God. He has not given us a spirit of fear. Hop over the fear, work through the fear. Maybe you need to get a counselor. Maybe you need to spend some quiet time with yourself. Maybe you need to write it down. Maybe you need to read, but figure out the fear and everything you want is on the other side. Whatever you want, not what I want, not what Aku wants, whatever you want is on the other side. So the fear, I don't know if I want to post to social. I don't know what my family's gonna say. I'm scared that, you know, people are gonna think. All of those things are holding you back from going to where the Lord expects you to go, where you want to go, and what you want to accomplish. So everything you want is on the other side of fear. It's not too late to live out your dream. Pursue it and boldly go.
Awesome. And to wrap it up, I want to add this. You know, taking a leap of faith, like Aquila just said,
Yes,
will open up doors that you can never imagine. So when I signed up for Janelle's class, it wasn't just to build my brand. One, for me, it was to support another Black woman.
Yes,
right?
thank you.
Because I see the hustle, I see the hard work, and Janelle goes all out.
Yes.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to invest in this program. One, to support her, two, to see if it will help me build my brand. But listen, people, taking that leap of faith is what led me to Aquila.
Wow.
Okay? And that's why we have this interview today.
Yes.
So, I mean, take a leap of faith. You just never know where that's going to land you. Take that leap of faith and just leave the rest to God.
Yes.
And that's it. That's all I can say. And on that note, Aquila, I just want to say, continue to build a legacy that counts. You are doing an amazing job. And we see you.
Yeah, for His glory. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this was an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful, and all the best for this year and beyond.
I wish the very same to you. Yay! Nice. Good, did, Beyonce.
And your skin and everything is on point.
Oh my God, it must be the computer.
No. The texture is smooth, it's silky.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Computer doesn't have filter, so.
That's true. That is true. Sometimes you see a picture and the person looks perfect on Instagram, and then you see them in person and you're like, where's that picture?
Is that you?